Well, until the age of 9, Naomi Streamer had never watched TV or even listened to the radio. But 2 years later, Naomi knew exactly what she wanted to be when she grew up. A superstar like her idols, Celine Dion and Mariah Carey.
Naomi Streamer was on track to fulfilling her childhood dream of becoming a singer. Hailed by critics as the next Celine Dion, she landed a major record deal with Sony at just 18. She also rubbed shoulders with music industry legends like Carlos Santana and Randy Jackson. But it was a conversation with a chauffeur in the hallway of a hip-hop studio in New York that brought her to a crossroads. She could watch her dream unfold or walk away from it all. In her book, Backstage Pass, Naomi shares what it was like to be on the threshold of her dreams and why she decided to re-examine her life.
Please welcome to the 700 Club, Naomi Streamer. It's great to have you here.
Thank you so much.
People might not know this about you, but you grew up as a farm girl. You were raised by missionary parents, homeschooled. How did you wind up with this recording contract?
I think it was really God's leading, because I look back and I still go, how did this all happen? But one thing led to another, and there I was in New York City signing this big deal.
Sony invested a lot of money into you. I mean, you know, in the beginning, singing is glamorous and it's also from your heart, but in the end, it's big business.
It is, yes.
It's very big business. What happened with all of the things that were going on for you in the beginning, all this great interest in these big contractual offers?
Yeah, it was huge. It was these $1 million deals and traveling around the world, and there were always really great highs and then really lows, really low lows. So every time that I was at the pinnacle of having everything I wanted, it seemed as though the rug was always pulled and everything would come crumbling down like dust at my feet. And I would plead with God, why is this happening? Why me? You know.
You had an opportunity to rub elbows with some of the biggest names in the business. Did that just further whet your appetite to move into this whole area of performance?
It was always reassuring. It was always, you're on the right path. This is what you should be doing.
With the people who can make it happen, right?
Exactly.
When you realized that the dream was falling apart a bit at a time, how did that affect you? Because this was your passion, it was your heart.
Well, you know, for me, I always had the relationship with God, but I was angry with him because I thought, you know, I'm a good Christian girl, you should be blessing me, and this is what I'm going for. So I would have these, you know, Job-like situations of just anger and pleading, but at the same time I was scared because I didn't want God to leave me. So I just wasn't getting it, that I had said, God, you can have all of this, you can have all this, but this part's mine.
Did you ever look at the business part of it, because there's a lot of pressure and you can feel that pressure as it's happening to you? Did it ever scare you?
Well, it's interesting. It seems the higher you climb, the emptier you become, because the pressure does increase. And you don't want to lose all of that adoration and that praise, and you're in the top of the world. And the big fear is, I'm going to lose it. I'm not going to be perfect. I'm not going to be the one at the top anymore. And it starts to eat away at you, and it's very unhealthy. And I say, now looking back, it's because we're not created to be praised. Humans aren't created for that. We're created to give praise, and there's only one that can receive it. So when we receive it, and the more we receive it, the just emptier and lonelier and more distraught we become.
Yeah, it really does separate us from the one who deserves the praise.
Yes, it does.
Talk a little bit about the conversation that a chauffeur had with you. This is such an unusual story.
Yeah, I had been called to Puff Daddy's studio to work with some of his production. And I was pacing the hallway going, what am I doing here? This isn't my dream. Is this what it's come to for me? And this chauffeur approached me and shocked me with his first opening.
You didn't know him?
I didn't know him. I'd met him the night before. He had driven me around. And he approached me and said, I had a dream about you last night. And I thought, that is such a strange thing to say to someone.
Yes.
And he proceeded to tell me that an angel had come to him in the night and given him a message for me. And that message was my very prayers that I've been having to God, the very conversations. So he started to tell me my whole life. And at first I was going, this isn't happening. This isn't real. He's making this up. Until the prayers started happening. him repeating them to me. And he said, the most profound thing, he said, if you continue chasing after your dreams, going after everything you want, it's going to continue to crumble into dust at your feet. But if you can walk away, you're at a crossroads right now today. If you can walk away, choose Jesus, give everything up for Jesus, choose him, all your dreams will come true.
What did you think?
I was shaking. I was just, I knew God had been there in that moment.
Yeah.
And I ran out of that studio and I thought, no one's ever going to believe this happened to me. They're going to say I made it up, I built this, you know, into something bigger. And I knew God had spoken to me, but I didn't know what it meant.
It would have seemed like that was the end of the dream, and yet I'm holding your book in my hand and your CD in my hand. What are you doing today? Well,
that answer was true. You know, I walked away, and God has now fulfilled dreams I didn't even know I had. The book, the album, I'm on tour singing and preaching and doing all kinds of things that I never would have imagined.
All focused on praising the one.
Everything's praising God.
Who deserves it.
Yeah.
You're going to sing for us today. What are you singing?
Yes, it's called Earth and Sky. It's my new single.
Awesome. I'm going to let you go over and get ready to sing while I tell people more about your book and your CD.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead. It's all right. Well, to find out more about Naomi, you need to read her book. It's an amazing story. It's called Backstage Pass, the Naomi Streamer story. She has also recorded a CD. It's called Naomi Streamer, Hope That Breaks the Darkness. That's her message. And we want you to hear that from her today. So please welcome Naomi singing Earth and Sky.
When I'm lost in the shadows, weary from the lies, when I'm nothing more than broken, you stand by my side. You fill my heart with wonder, and with every star that shines, it reminds me of your love. You are the hope that breaks the dark. You are the God who holds my heart. Nothing between earth and sky can separate me from your love. Hanging on to every word. You are the truth, the way, and I'm sure nothing between earth and sky can separate me from your love. You are with me through the fire, my shelter from the storm. You're my comfort in the chaos. I find peace in your name. In the middle of my trials, when the darkness closes in, I will look to the heavens. Oh, you are the hope that breaks the dark. You are the God who holds my heart. Nothing between earth and sky can separate me from your love. Hanging on to every word. You are the truth, the way, and I'm sure nothing between earth and sky can separate me from your love. Your love. Your love. I'm surrounded by your love. You are the hope that breaks the dark. And you are the God who holds my heart. Oh, you are the hope that breaks the dark. You are the God who holds my heart. Nothing between earth and sky can separate me from your love. Hanging on to every word. You are the truth, the way, and I'm sure nothing between earth and sky can separate